There was this girl who was 2 years ahead of me, and she had huge boobs in high school, and she would go to the trainer before, and they would duct tape her boobs down.
Hello, and welcome to the Roast of Your Teenage Self podcast. I am your host, your roast-coming queen, a girl who once wore zebra-striped leggings and a Ramones t-shirt on a class trip to the White House, Alise Morales. And with us today, guys, we have a writer and TV producer whose book, Notes from the Bathroom Line, Humor, Art, and Low-Grade Panic from 150 of the funniest women in comedy, which I may or may not have contributed to, is out now. But before all of that, she was a graduate of the University of Chicago Laboratory School. It's Amy Solomon.
Hi. That is an amazing outfit for the White House.
I wanted George W. Bush to know that I didn't fucking respect him. And I was going to show up in his house looking however I wanted to look.
Incredible. There's a famous story of we went on a family tour of the White House, in like the 90s. Mm-hmm. And my sister asked if this portrait of George Washington was Barbara Bush.
Oh, no!
It was amazing.
Oh, that rocks.
It was awesome. And she's probably in zebra leggings. Who knows?
That is very... How old was she?
She was pretty little. We were little.
Okay, that's even worse because that's just pure. Like, she genuinely was just like, isn't that Barbara Bush?
Yep, 100%. The hair is not that different. It was fair. It was fair.
And I don't know, the style of a president in the 1700s can be very similar to the style of like a Republican woman in 1992.
Totally. Like ruffle shirts. That's like a big area in their middle of their Venn diagram.
Just like white, pulled back curls, kind of. I see where she was coming from with that.
Totally. Anyway.
Did you go on any major class field trips in high school?
We did an 8th grade DC trip. That was the big one.
So because you grew up in Chicago, so was that like an overnighter?
Yeah, it was like, you went for like a week, right? So my school, we'll get into all this, but my school was K through 12.
Okay.
And it was only 100 kids in a grade. So these, that seems insane to me to try to organize, but it wasn't like, everyone could fit on one plane. It wasn't that crazy.
Yeah,
know?
That makes sense.
So the 8th grade DC one was like the big one for like, Monday to Friday, all the monuments, riding around on the tour bus thing.
Oh, and socially, that must have just been an incredible thing. When I grew up out in LA, my school did do a DC trip in 5th grade. So it was like, we were a little young for there to be like any shenanigans. Really.
Yeah, that's a long flight.
It was. But in 8th grade, I imagine like the romance, the drama, I can only imagine.
Big time. Someone got sent home for going in the water at the FDR Memorial. They like went in the fountain situation and got sent home.
You're not supposed to do that.
You know those hotels? Definitely not. Not at FDR. I love him. You know how those hotels like they're like an atrium hotel and there's like almost like a corridor inside, but it all looks down. I'm not describing
Isn't the Watergate like that?
I think so. Yeah.
Did y'all stay at the Watergate?
Yeah, we stayed at the Watergate just for real historical significance. Mm-hmm. No, but it was like, yes, you could like, if you were out of your room, you could see people like across the way.
Oh, God. That just upped the intrigue even more.
I don't know. And there was so many rules. Yeah, I think like 2 or 3 people got sent home. There was definitely some shenanigans.
And did you get to like room with friends? And all
so it was
stuff?
like you picked your pals and it was like 4 to a room and it was like big sleepover vibes. So
the
fun.
Excitement of that is
insane.
Unparalleled. Like to be able to have a sleepover with your friends that's at a hotel.
Unbelievable. I also think it was like 2 beds for the 4 people. They were just like,
yeah. And now as an adult, I'm like, I want my own room.
Yeah, 100%.
I would never sleep over at someone's house. I want to be at my house.
I know, seriously. Yeah, that was wow, that was a juicy time.
Yeah. I mean, that is the stuff that like a Lizzie McGuire made for TV special would be about. Like they would be like the Washington DC trip special. And it would all go down and like her and Gordo would maybe kiss. It would certainly be teased that they were going to kiss.
Absolutely. Yeah, no, that was it's such a rite of passage. I feel like I know most people I know went on like a DC trip.
Yeah.
I mean, when you're there, you see a million other schools on their tour buses, too. I feel like there were, like, common weeks to go do it, you know?
Well, yeah, and then, like, once I moved to outside the D.C. area, there's, like, trips within trips that you do. So it's like we went to see the White House, and then senior year there was a Capitol Hill trip that I went on with my 2 boyfriends. It was very dramatic. Always dramatic.
Amazing. Yeah, we did there's like, I think anywhere you grew up, like, there were the rites of passage Chicago ones, right? So there's like the Museum of Science and Industry and the aquarium and stuff like that. There were definitely like the major hot spots in Chicago.
Yeah, aquarium's a good trip too.
The aquarium in Chicago is amazing. It's like right on the lake and it's gorgeous.
DC, me and my friends skipped. The only time I like really for real skipped school was we went into DC to see the unveiling of the baby panda.
Oh, I would have been there in 2 seconds.
Yeah, it was, first of all, this was the first panda the first baby panda that we got. So
I
that
remember
was huge.
this. This was huge.
DC went insane when we got a baby panda. They put the baby panda on all of the Metro cards. They had a citywide like thing to name the panda. His name ended up being Tyshawn.
I must have expressed like deep interest in that at the time because my mom still sends me articles about any DC panda stuff going on. There are new ones. There are.
And because the tragedy of the DC panda situation is that the panda is always on loan from China. So we give our hearts to this one panda and then China comes and they take the panda away.
Also, we should not be like flying pandas from China.
Absolutely not. Absolutely not.
There's no way that's good for them.
I mean, we should just not have pandas, but if we're going to have pandas, we should just keep the pandas.
I know. At least don't make them fly.
Don't put them on a plane. Tyshawn is from D.C. Don't make him go to China.
He's from DuPont Circle.
Exactly. He's from the district. He doesn't know.
Oh, God. It's so crazy.
All right. Let's talk about your school. So you already got into it a little bit, but the University of Chicago Laboratory School sounds very fancy. Tell me, what flavor of high school is this? I mean, you said it's K through 12, but what flavor of educational institution is this?
So the like nickname for it in Chicago is U-High or Lab.
Okay.
So it's intended for the kids of people affiliated with the University of Chicago. So it's like, it's not on the campus, but it's like right next to it, and it's all the same architecture and blah, blah, blah in Hyde Park. And so it's mostly kids whose parents are professors or doctors or whatever. I wasn't. My dad and grandpa also went to the school. So it was a family tradition to go to this school. But most of my friends' parents were at University of Chicago in the law school or the med school or B school or whatever. So it's extremely academic. Like, because all of their parents are academics, and it was just really, really nerdy.
Yeah, and it's run by a really prestigious university.
Yeah. And it's all tied to, like, their calendar, so they start really late in the fall, so we would always start, like, weirdly late, and we'd have to have the same, like, breaks as them, because it was if the professors had a break, then their kids should have a break, blah, blah, blah. So it was very tied to this college. It was cool, because you had access to a lot of, like, we would often go visit cool classrooms or like, and have events on the campus, but it was weird. It's weird.
So was there a way for people like outside people to be in the school, or did you have to have some kind of connection?
It was like, I wonder what the percentage is. I feel like it's like 25% or something aren't affiliated, and you have to like apply and stuff. I think it's gotten way harder. I feel like I was sort of like went, and then my sister, who's like 4 years younger than me, had to like do one of those like kindergarten interview type things where they're like, what shape is this? And stuff like that.
What happens in those? What could you possibly be looking for?
My friend's son just did it, and we were like practicing. He's 4 and he's applying to, or 5, and he's applying to preschool stuff or kindergarten, whatever he is. And we were like practicing with him because we were like, he's gonna go into a room with a strange adult, and we have no clue what he's gonna say, like none.
I just can't imagine as an adult interviewing a child
I know.
in any serious way. Like, it reminds me of when I was watching like the Diane Sawyer Britney Spears interview, and I'm like, she's 22. Don't you feel silly talking to her? Like,
I know. Oh, that was so sad.
Don't you feel odd that you're asking a 22-year-old about her like why her and her boyfriend broke up?
I know. And Jasper, the little boy, he's really funny, and of course his like dad's a comedian and stuff like that. So he like is way too into like telling jokes. Mm-hmm. And so recently we were like, he was talking about his dad's an actor. So he was like, my dad's an actor. And we were like, what does your mom do? And he goes, she works at SeaWorld. And it's like, she does not. But it's like, what if he just says that in this interview? So it was like, no clue what happened in there. And then he won't answer anything afterwards. It's like, how'd it go? He's like, good. So, I don't know.
Kids, that's really funny. Okay, so you're at this school. It has this affiliation to the college. Is there an expectation that you're going to go to University of Chicago afterwards?
No, though I mean, a lot of kids end up going. I wonder how many people from my class. I feel like it's like 15 or something like that. And I also, there's a whole thing of it's free tuition for kids whose parents are affiliated with the university, or at least extremely like discounted.
Free tuition to U Chicago or free tuition to this school?
Both the school and to Chicago.
Oh shit!
So
okay,
yeah.
So the school is like a huge perk of working at the university as well.
Totally. I think it's this big. I think the reason it exists is they're like, if they're trying to get a fancy professor or whatever, they're like, your kid can go to this nice school and it's right on the campus and blah 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 blah.
I mean, that is a nice. That's no joke as a perk. I know.
It really is. I think there are others similar at other universities, but yeah, it's really nice for them.
Okay, so academically, how did that environment affect teen Amy?
So here was my kind of weird situation. Well, so it's in Hyde Park, which is on the south side of Chicago. Mm-hmm. And it's like, when I was applying, you know when you were applying to colleges and they sent those millions of brochures to your house? Mm-hmm. The University of Chicago had made this brochure that was like this huge, like open up, beautiful picture of the University of Chicago. And they basically had juxtaposed it like it's next to downtown. Like they had just deleted the miles and miles in between.
Deleted the south side of Chicago.
Like you have to take a major train to like get downtown, like for like 25 minutes. So I lived downtown. So I lived, you know, in the morning. I feel like it took like 45 minutes in traffic in the morning. So I kind of lived sort of removed from the school. So I felt kind of not like an outsider, but like all my friends were hanging in Hyde Park and I was kind of more removed. So I never quite felt like as deeply a part of it as others did, I think. Because a lot of kids were like, you lived so close to your pals and your parents worked together and you go to school together and that kind of thing. But I was we weren't affiliated with the university, so it was a little bit different for me.
So were your friends like other people who were less like in it, basically? You guys like formed an alliance? A little bit, yeah. I was friends with all the North Side kids. So it was like the kids that lived like my best friend since we were 4 is this gal Julia, and her mom was a doctor at University of Chicago, but they lived up by Wrigley Field. So I think we fell in love at like the kindergarten orientation. Aww. But the fact that we both lived north and could carpool and stuff was a huge thing. I feel like that's such a huge thing for high school friendships too, because like my high school best friend Megan and my other really close high school friend Chelsea, we all lived in the same neighborhood.
Totally.
So it's like it just funnels you together because it's like we were taking the same bus together in the mornings. When it was the weekend and your parents didn't want to drive you anywhere, like I could walk to see them. When we started partying and getting drunk, we could all covertly sneak away and meet up easily. Like it was all closer together.
Totally. But then there's like the double-edged sword of like my mom would like want me to be friends with the carpool people, like the people that were convenient, and it was like I don't like that kid. You know, it's like I get that it's convenient for you, but like this is hell for me.
Yeah, that's also a thing. I mean, going from K through 12, like once you get to high school, are like all of the friendships and everything, your like social status pretty much set?
Yeah, that was the thing about it was like I had known most of them. I mean, people came in and out, but like I'd known most of them since I was 4. Like a lot of the people I graduated with were in like literal kindergarten class, and it was like 112 kids or something. So it just almost felt like there weren't as much like cliques, like the jocks and the mean girls and the theater kids, because it was just like it's just like each individual for so long. You know?
Yeah, and it's like they have been invited to your birthday party in the past because everyone was invited to everyone's birthday parties in the past.
Totally.
And like...
Yeah, exactly. And like, I honestly wanted to switch high schools because I was just like, I can't. Like, everyone had kissed everyone by 8th grade, you know? Like, it was just like, there was no one left.
And where were you in the kissing? Were you kissing? Were you desperate to be kissed?
So so my parents sometime in middle school, you know when like the earliest kids start to kiss and your parents somehow hear about it, they were basically like, you're not allowed, like you're not dating, like no. And that must have been like 5th or 6th grade, right? And then they kind of just never lifted that ban. Like they never mentioned it again.
The ban on kissing actually still stands.
Yeah, honestly.
You are not to be kissing.
My dad does constant bits, like we'll call in the morning, my boyfriend and I, and he'll be like, but you guys didn't like spend the night together, right? Like no possible way. Like you guys are just met up for breakfast, right? Like all the time. But so the band just like they never addressed it again. So then I sort of dated this guy from like 7th to 10th grade who was, upon reflection, just my best friend, and also he's gay. It turns out, which I feel is a rite of passage.
It so is. And I had a crush on a boy in 8th grade named Michael, and I thought that, like, we were gonna be together, and then he, like, went cold on me, and I didn't know why, and I remember I, like, really sadly listened to a Phantom Planet song, and then I got to school, and he was like, I am gay. Oh, no. And I was like, absolutely floored.
Oh my God. I mean, it makes so much sense now because it was like we kissed for years and he never pushed for more, you know? He didn't come out till after college though. So this was like, it was,
yeah.
I always think of where we grew up as like so liberal and progressive but now I've talked to friends who I'm like, a lot of people were really closeted. Yeah. It was more in theory than in practice, I think, you know?
When we were in high school, like if you're talking like early 2000s, you know, it was a hot button issue in a way that I think we forget. And like, It was 100% cool for someone to just openly be like, I don't think people should be gay.
I know.
And like, that was actually a debate that was like having out in public. And I always am like, well, I've been pro-gay rights since I first started listening to emo music. So. But,
I know.
I mean, like marriage equality was only 2010, so it's like...
Then that's the year I graduated high school. So it's like, clearly it was... I can't even imagine. I mean...
Yeah.
I can't even imagine the struggle. Like, and I also think there's kind of a weird dichotomy of like a place that says it, but it's like that's open and liberal and cool, but it's not really happening in practice, you know?
Yeah. And it's like to be that first kid who is like, I'm openly gay at my school. It's like that's a big leap to have to take. And,
for sure.
Like with zero knowledge of what would be to come. But
I know, seriously.
So yes, I do think that dating a closeted person is a rite of passage as a teen.
Yeah, so we literally 7th to 10th grade. I mean, my parents definitely knew, but we went to movies all the time and that kind of thing. And my whole family used to go to his family's Passover Seder, so they all loved each other.
Your parents were honestly probably like, "This is amazing. She's dating this kid who's clearly gay. She's gonna be fine. He's lovely. We can go to Seder."
He's Jewish. He's athletic. This is unbelievable. Yeah, his parents were so smart. Unbelievable.
Oh, they're not gonna do anything. It's
amazing. Yeah, I think that was pretty perfect for them. So that was kind of my big relationship. That was him for a long, long, long time, which was perfect. I mean, he was the best, so.
And was it I imagine that if you're dating for that long at a school that small, it's you guys become sort of an entity yourself as a couple.
Yeah, for sure. And we went to prom together, and that was always a given and stuff like that. So it was honestly a very sweet, supportive thing to have through high school,
So when you guys broke up in 10th grade, was it
It was kind of okay.
Yeah.
We were in this big group of, I was such a tomboy, the horrible kind of girl that was I get along better with guys.
Oh, I said that so many times as a teenager.
Horrible.
It's so sad.
It's
so sad, but they
now
wanted us to say that.
I know they did. Oh, it's so
Free
bad.
Britney. They wanted us to say it. They incepted us.
I know, they really did. And now, all that matters to me in the world are my female friendships. So when I think about that, it's, so horrifying. But we had this big group of guy pals, Danny and Andy and Nathaniel and blah, blah, blah. And it was, it all just was kind of okay. And then we still went to prom together and stuff. So it was just, somehow it was okay.
Yeah. That's interesting because I guess... That's the thing about high school breakups is they can go one of two ways, which is where you just 100% remain friends, or it's the most dramatic thing that's ever happened to anyone. Totally. I always chose to make it absolutely, not only, I always chose to make it something that not only affected me, but absolutely everyone around me.
I think we kind of didn't have a choice. It was so small, Also, I was really bad at math. And he was really good at math, and I really relied on him. It was hours long phone calls every night, helping me through math homework kind of stuff. It was he helped me with math, and I helped him with Spanish, and it was a beautiful symbiotic relationship.
That's true, and you can't. Especially in such an academically rigorous environment.
I know
you don't want to fall behind.
You can't burn those bridges.
All right, so let's talk extracurriculars. You said you were, were you sporty? Let's talk about that.
Soccer.
Great. I believe we have a soccer photo that we can pull up.
And this is, I guess this is actually on a brochure from my high school, which is horrific.
Wow.
But yeah, that must have been a soccer practice. So the thing you'll notice is I look exactly the same. I have never changed my hair, and it's always been my vibe.
I've changed my hairstyles at different times, but I always come back to this bob. Yeah. It always returns to the bob.
Yeah. I think there's a thing that's your right, resting place. I don't know.
Exactly.
Now this soccer field, we had the worst soccer field of any high school. When we would go play a school on AstroTurf, it was oh my God, this is the fanciest thing in the world. And now this soccer field in this picture is so nice. When I took my boyfriend to go see where I grew up and blah blah, and I was fuck those people, that's such a nice soccer field.
And how competitive was your team? were y'all good?
You're really good. So I was really lucky that I played at school and then outside of school. That was my I played on a travel team and all this stuff. So school, our team was so good when I was in high school. So we always used to make it to the final. We always lost in the final 16 of the state tournament of the IHSA, the Illinois High School, whatever.
That stuff gets so. It's the one act play competition in Virginia is VHSL, and I'll never forget it.
I think IHSA a lot. I have a lot of recurring dreams that I forgot my shin guards. That's like a big thing for me right now.
That's so interesting because I have recurring dreams that I am about to perform in a play at my high school and I don't know what the play is about. And I've never heard of the play.
Oh
and I'm
God.
trying, and I'm always backstage at my high school trying to flip through the script, but it's like it's this little tiny light and I can't read it and I'm trying to memorize the script before the play that's supposed to start in 5 minutes.
Horrible. It's terrifying.
So is yours always just, like, are you back on your high school field for that?
Yeah, I'm in the locker room. I can't remember my combo to the locker, and I don't have my shin guards, and I don't have the right color socks, and we have a game. Disaster.
Wow. It is so crazy how the stress of that, like, buries so deep in your brain that as an adult woman, like, such a specific dream like that would come up.
It's really crazy. It's all the time. It's like weekly.
I have the play dream often.
God, it's so scary. Oh, that's so bad. Yeah, so soccer was for real. Like, it was like school games, this travel team games. That's where like my best friends were from. My knees were really messed up, so I did a lot of physical therapy. I would go to this physical therapy place near my house, and it was me and like 60-year-old men. And it was like, what science has learned is girls shouldn't play intense soccer in like middle school because it just like, it's this whole thing of your glutes don't develop and it fucks your knees and blah, blah, blah. But so it was like my kneecaps were popping out. I had to wear those huge I wish I had a picture of that, but I had to wear knee braces on both knees. And it was both. So.
I feel like that's always a rite of passage too, is like showing up to school with like some kind of injury.
Totally. 100%. You know what? I think about this a lot too. The basketball team wore suits on game days.
Yes! Yes, our basketball team, and I think our football team would wear suits.
It was so weird. So you always knew when the basketball team was playing because they all showed up in a suit. It was bizarre.
I always was like, oh, they look so cute in their little suits. But I don't want to admit it because they're the football team and they're my enemy.
Catherine Cohen once said that when she sees someone in a suit, she's like, oh, he's in a play. So now, because like if you're like in Midtown, it's like, why is someone in a suit? They must be in a play.
They're in a play.
They have a basketball game.
Yeah, maybe it's game day.
So dumb. But yeah, soccer was the big one. And then I got really, really, really involved in the Obama campaign in 2008.
Awesome. I know that we have photos of that, so let's pull those photos up.
Yeah, baby. Oh yeah.
Wow.
So okay,
hope and change, baby.
So President Obama was our senator, first our state senator, then our senator, and his kids went to my school.
Wait, Sasha and Malia
went to my school.
Went to your school?
Yeah.
Have you laid eyes upon them?
Absolutely.
My God!
They were like babies. You know, how old were they when he got? They were like little.
They were teeny tiny.
Yeah.
They were little because I remember he was like, Sasha, Malia, you're getting the puppy.
I know. Oh, they were so cute. So my sister was only a little bit. My sister like had mutual friends with Malia, and they like, so you know, he was just kind of a dad for a while. And Michelle was on the board of the school and all sorts of stuff. So they were like, you know, community presences. So when he announced he was running, it was a big thing for our community. And like also, you know, I think we grew up at the same time. Like Bush, Clinton, growing up during Monica Lewinsky and then Bush. It was like, oh, politicians might not be so great, you know?
Yeah.
And so then when this, like, amazing dad from nearby was running, who was our senator, it was like, oh, this is big, you know? So...
Yeah, it felt so different at that time to, like, see him and to just... I don't know, and things were, I mean, the politics of that time were so crazy, and I was like going to Iraq war protests at that time and being like, nah, Bush, to see this campaign that literally said like hope and change, it was such a different vibe.
Insane. And we all knew he was like amazing, you know, and so everyone just like went nuts. So my mom worked for the campaign, and so I just got... Illinois was perfectly situated of, like, clearly the headquarters was there, and then also a ton of swing states around it. So we would go to Indiana, so we started in Iowa, and I spent so much time going every weekend and stuff. And I would organize kids from the school to go and blah, blah. So it was Iowa, and then we did Indiana in the primaries, and then Michigan wasn't far, and Missouri wasn't far. And so it was just like perfect for busing everywhere, you know?
Yeah.
So I just like, and then the bottom picture is in Albuquerque, New Mexico, where I went for the summer before the election and volunteered there for the whole summer.
Okay, how old were you then?
So I was like 16.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, so you weren't even able to vote for him at that time.
No. I feel like I was also like, because I couldn't vote for him, I was like, I have to make up for it.
Yeah, I have to get more people to vote for him. See, he was the first person that I was able to vote for.
So
and I remember
cool.
It was like a big deal because in Virginia, if you're going to be 18 in the election, you can vote in the primary.
They just passed that here.
Oh, really?
That was one of our, the things on, the referendums on the ballot this last time.
Yeah, it was actually really cool. And I think that it did help kids like to care more.
Totally. Yeah.
And as a result of that, we had this thing called Candidates Day where all these local candidates came and like talked to us to try to get us to vote for them because we could technically all vote. And it actually got extremely rowdy, and and this woman, Jean Marie Devilitis Davis, attacked a friend of mine because she asked a question about abortion.
Oh my God.
She was running for state senate, and my friend asked a question about abortion, and my friend had been working on her opponent's campaign, and she said, "I know who you are."
For an adult running for
I
state
know,
senate?
to a child. She was like, "I know who you are, and I know what you're trying to do." And everyone, like, basically turned on her immediately because she was so rude.
Yeah.
Which is interesting because I don't think the community at large liked me or my friends. But I think they were just like, how dare you come into our house and be rude to us?
Totally.
So then everyone flipped out and started chanting the name of her opponent, Chap Peterson. And it got really bad, and she like left in a huff.
Unbelievable. That's amazing.
So,
I mean,
yeah.
I think the more, like, it was honestly, like, high schoolers getting passionate about politics is deeply nerdy, but also, like, so important. So, and then when Obama nominated Rahm Emanuel to be his chief of staff, his seat was available. And so then I worked on a congressional campaign for this guy, Charlie Whelan, who was a University of Chicago professor who ran for that. And so I got really into, like, local politics, which was fun.
So did this, like, you're so young and you're doing this, but did it make you feel, like, very adult?
So because I grew up in, like, literally downtown Chicago, I was always, like, I took the train home alone. You would take the Metro to the Red Line. Like, I was always super independent. And my dad traveled a ton and stuff like that. And just with all the soccer stuff, too. So, I was kind of, like, always just a little, like, I was always, like, I flew to New Mexico myself and stayed with they put us up in supporter housing, which is, like, a volunteer lets you stay in their guest room or whatever, like that.
So with that, it's, like, what was your, like, social life at that time when you're out in New Mexico? Because were there other people your age, or were you kind of hanging out with older people?
Yeah. So my friend Dan Hornung, who I did all the Obama stuff with, he and I went to New Mexico together. I think that was probably why all of our parents were okay with it. But we lived in separate houses, and we just, like, met at the office every day. But I was like a freak workhorse type girl. Like, I just loved canvassing and making phone calls and stuff. So that summer there was no socializing to be had. I saw Dan, and that was it. And I'd go home and read,
Yeah, so you truly just, as a teenager, just went and did your work.
Yeah, I was so nerdy. And also still, but I just loved to read. So it was like, I would, that was the summer the last Twilight book came out.
Okay.
So I remember, like, pre-ordering it from the Barnes & Noble in Albuquerque and, like, going to get it and being like, I gotta go home and go read this,
So was Twilight a big pop culture thing for you?
I don't even think so, but I loved... Do you remember how big of a deal it was when the Harry Potter books would come out? And
yes.
Everyone, you would go and wait at midnight and you'd wear your costume.
Oh, yeah.
I just loved that, like, fanfare, you know? My
So
sister
it's like, I'm searching for it elsewhere in my
just
life.
anywhere. Like, what is that, you know? There's never fanfare about a book coming out. My dream is we all get so excited and rowdy about books coming out.
I'm going to the midnight release of Notes from the Bathroom Line.
Yeah, baby. Yeah, that's what I wish. So, yeah, I don't know. So, yeah, I did not drink. I did not do anything. I did not party. I was like a nerd. Big time. And
which I guess is why your
Horrified.
parents were like,
yeah,
you can go, because they knew.
Totally. They were very trusting. Almost to a fault, maybe. But, no, I was like big time goody two shoes vibe.
And were you like, if you were around that stuff, would you be like scandalized?
I was like, not, I definitely like judged people who like got really into it, but I could go to a party and see people drinking and that didn't upset me. I definitely felt like, oh, I could drive people home kind of thing. Like that made me feel useful and good, you know?
Yes, because I like, until I made the switch from drinking to not drinking, other people drinking scared me. Yeah. I was very scared by them, and I was like, they could do anything.
Yeah, totally. I was definitely scared of I remember walking with my friends to the homecoming dance, and one of them had like a flask, like in her, and I was like, they're gonna find that. Like, they're going to pat you down at the door, and they're going to find that, and you're going to fuck us all over, you know? Yeah. I was just, like,
and we'll be sent to Guantanamo Bay.
Yeah.
Do you know what happens?
Yeah, seriously. So I was so scared about that. And, like, in relation to college, and, you know, I was terrified of all that.
Yeah, I would say high schools are very good at doing a number on you about making it seem like your college will rescind your acceptance at any point.
They drill that into your brain.
Mm-hmm.
Like, if your grades slip a little in the spring, like, they can rescind.
Terrifying. You better not have a senior slump, or else they'll take your rescinded, they'll take it away. It's like, why not just let people live?
I know. Oh, God. Yeah, so I was so scared at all times.
All right, let's take a look at some of these, fill out the crew a little bit. I know we've got pictures of your friends here.
Yeah.
Let's do the one with the phone in it first.
Yeah.
Okay, so who are we looking at here? Once again, you look exactly the same. You have the exact same hair.
Though I discovered teeth whitener, which is important. But this is my best friend, Camille. This was my, like, best soccer friend. She has a Motorola Razr, which is so good.
That's why I was so excited that you included this picture, because I feel like of all the burner phones, all the flip phones, all the everything, the Motorola Razr is the most iconic and the best.
Absolutely. I mean, that's kind of like the image I think of when I think of old phones. You know, that phone. Probably because she had literally that one. And I remember being so jealous of it. I never had a Razr. I had, like, lots of weird chunky clunky guys. In this picture, we were at a luau in Hawaii. We went to a soccer tournament in Hawaii, and this was so you can see a little bit. She's wearing like a puka shell necklace, which is amazing.
So you go on this soccer trip to Hawaii, and again, it's just like no shenanigans. You just purely play soccer.
This is the big theme. No shenanigans. We weren't allowed in the water, because supposedly it could, like, drain your, like, muscles. So we were only allowed in the ocean or the pool for 20 minutes. And this one girl, Maddie, they caught her in the water, and she wasn't allowed to start the game.
Oh, no. Maddie.
So we went to Hawaii and, like, we weren't allowed to go in the ocean. It was insane. And we were, like, 15. It was insane. And we kept eating at, like, a Wolfgang Puck Express. It was just so dark. Oh, God.
So it's like you went to Hawaii, but in a way that, like, did not celebrate at all what Hawaii was.
No. And the soccer team was so intense. And so it was just, like, that was all that mattered. And it was like, come on. We're 15 and we're in Hawaii. I mean, Honolulu, I've been since, and it's an amazing city. And that strip of, I think it's called Waikiki or something, is, like, it's the worst tourist trap. Horror. We kept going to California Pizza Kitchen for all of our meals. I think about that all the time.
It's so funny because it's like, you think they could have planned one, like, And then for your last dinner, we'll do like a really nice Hawaiian restaurant.
Totally.
But no, just California Pizza Kitchen.
Oh, and this was a luau that is like this luau you buy expensive tickets to, and it's probably like the least realistic situation of all time. It was horrible. So yeah, I went to Hawaii for this and just played soccer, and we lost real bad. It's like once you start losing, could you get in the ocean? Like we're losing.
Yeah. It's like we're not doing well. Like let we all want to join Maddie in the ocean. We're in Hawaii.
Maddie also got her mom found out she'd had her belly button pierced because she'd always hid it, but then her mom saw her in a bathing suit and she saw it. I've gotten in a lot of trouble this trip.
Yeah, this trip wrecked Maddie's life.
But Camille and I were goody two-shoes. But Camille, you can see in this picture, is wearing like kind of some eyeliner. Mm-hmm. And I remember being like, I can't believe Camille figured out makeup. Like, look at that gorgeous application.
What if anything was your beauty regimen in high school?
Nothing. Like
0?
Yeah. To be honest, like I a little bit resent my mom for like never telling me anything. Like, did you do makeup?
I did makeup because I was like a scene kid. So I had like the thick eyeliner on both eyes. And then I would do like crazy eyeshadow to match my outfit. And sometimes I would line under my eye. And one time I did that in red, and my drama teacher said that I looked like I was bleeding.
The first time I ever had makeup was when I went to get it done for prom.
Wow. So you were like tomboy, guys, girl in that whole world. Of like...
I wore sports bras until college, and then I was the kind of girl who like got boobs like in a 1 month span senior year of high school. Like I had none, and then it was like, what just happened to me? And so I wore these like weird, like, you know, the first kind of bras you get, like they were like Nike sports bras, and I wore these same ones, and then I got like a couple bras before I went to college, and it was like a big deal.
Oh, I remember like getting a bra at Limited Too, which like I didn't even need one, but I like bought it, and I remember it was like powder blue satin bra, and I was just like, today's the day. Everything changes. And then I would like put it on, and it was like falling off because I had no boobs. I was like,
it sounds really sexy.
Did you did you get a lot of commentary on your fantastical boob growth? Or
I don't know. I was so into like strapping them down, you know. There was this girl, especially for soccer. It all comes back to soccer in the end. But like, there was this girl who was 2 years ahead of me, and she had huge boobs in high school, and she would go to the trainer before, and they would duct tape her boobs down.
Oh my god.
Because it's like horrible. Like, also you chest trap a lot in soccer, and like if it hit your boobs, especially when they're like developing, it hurts so bad.
That actually hurt me to think about.
I know. Oh my god.
For the men listening, getting hit on the boob really hurts.
Oh, so
they're
bad.
sensitive. When they're growing, they're really sensitive. If you're on your period, they're really sensitive.
Ugh, it was so bad. Yeah, so she would go, and they would like tape them down to her. And so then I was like, I would sleep purposely in a sports bra on my chest to try to be like, not get boobs, which really backfired, but it's okay now.
See, that's so funny to me because I was absolutely convinced that the fact that I did not have giant boobs was something that was going to hinder my entire life. Everyone in my school was thinking about this. They were talking about it. It was forefront of everyone's mind as far as I was concerned.
I know.
And as a result of that, like, I remember every girl who had boobs.
Me too. 100%.
All of them.
Yeah.
All
Did
of
you guys change into uniforms for gym class?
Yes.
Wow, we did too. And it was like, in that locker room, you knew exactly what was happening with everybody's boobs. Like
100%.
It was only 50 girls. So it was like, you knew like the exact trajectory of all of these boobs.
I have a traumatic locker room memory, which is that one time I was in the locker room, but I was behind the lockers and no one could see me.
Uh-huh.
And I overheard the popular girls talking about me. And they said that I always wore slutty clothes, but the teachers never got mad because I'm a weirdo.
Oh my God.
Isn't that insane?
Did you do the thing where you slink away, or did you like come out so
Oh,
they
I
saw
hid.
you?
I
Yeah,
hid.
yeah.
I, first of all, direct hit
Ugh.
to the self-esteem, to the
Ugh.
psyche, forever.
Horrible.
I like think about it to this day. And so I just hid. I like sat and I waited. Fucking Emily.
There is
Emily
always a thing.
and Shanley and Michelle. I know. I remember every single one of those bitches.
This kid Oliver said something to me about I overheard him saying something about me being really loud. And that was like my
Trauma.
big self-esteem thing too. And so for many, many, many years, it's still something I think about. I'm like, I'm being so loud. Like, why am I talking so much?
I mean, when someone gets you at that young of an age, it's like,
Forever.
even if it's just saying you're loud, which like, who gives a shit?
No, I know. It just strikes straight into you and it stays there forever. Oh,
Like,
God.
I'm like, maybe, I guess I do wear slutty clothes. I wear less slutty clothes now. Now that I'm 30, my clothes are less slutty, but I used to wear pretty slutty clothes.
Oh, God.
They weren't wrong. That was the other thing that was harmful, is that they were actually not wrong. And I was wearing clothes that they would have all gotten in trouble for because they were like the desirable women of the school. So that was the other part of it that was really mean. Like, another one that was very mean that my ex-boyfriend Brian, when we were going through our very traumatic breakup, which, as I said, I involved everyone around me. He said that I smelled bad when I was on my period, and that's true.
Oh my God. There was a rumor that went around about me that I was asexual. I think like someone must have just like learned that term, because I just like wasn't like hooking up with,
Yeah.
it was always like at every dance it was like, who hooked up with, this is like, who hooked up with who, blah blah, and I never did any of that. And so there was a rumor that I was asexual, and then
they were like, you know what, Amy, she's not making out at these dances.
Yeah, what could the answer be? And so then and then that got in my head, and I was like, am I? Because you're not at a point where you know yourself even well enough. No, and
I honestly feel like now at Gen Z, it's like you could just be like, I'm asexual, and everyone would be like, I respect that.
Totally,
so
which is beautiful.
But instead now you're just like, what does that mean?
Yeah.
I'm scared. This is horrible. Is this true?
I know. Yeah, those things will really, if it hits you at the right moment, you'll never let go.
Yeah, and especially if like you were probably worried because you weren't making out at the dance. And so you were like, okay, well, actually, like, the evidence that they've presented is correct. I'm not doing this. So does that mean I'm asexual?
Totally.
Or does it just mean that I'm, like, really into soccer right now?
Or my parents told me I wasn't allowed to date 5 years ago, and I never asked again what the rule was.
Yeah, or is my boyfriend gay? Like, yeah. I don't know.
That's so funny. Yeah.
Okay, let's take a look at the other picture you have of your friend here to round things out.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. So this is the one who I mentioned, Julia, who is my best friend since we were 4. And now she's a doctor. It's so crazy that people we grew up with are like lawyers and doctors, and we're like,
I know,
here are some jokes. Like, I don't know.
My friend Megan, who I mentioned before, is like fully a teacher, and my friend Chelsea, who also lived in my area, is like a geologist, and
it's insane.
like she like knows science.
It's
I'm
insane.
Like, what?
Yeah, Julia's a full doctor.
Yeah.
In Chicago. I'm actually like, a lot of them are still in Chicago. Like there are some people in New York and stuff. I have one really good friend, Kelly, who's out here in LA from high school. And then, so you said your robes were maroon too?
Yes.
Yeah. So our mascot was the Maroons. That's what the University of Chicago thing is just the color maroon.
Maroon.
Yeah.
I did not realize that that's the mascot.
Yeah.
What is his anthropomorphized form?
There isn't one. It's just
there is none.
No, it's just like the maroons. It's just the color. It's like it's often like a maroon M. It's bizarre. Oh. Yeah.
So you don't have anybody who runs on the field?
No. So I was so glad to get to college and be like, a tiger!
So yeah, let's briefly go through that journey. So this friend ended up a doctor. How did you go from here? You're playing soccer. You're, focused on that. How do you go from here to working in television, editing a book, all of that?
Well, so I was always really into comedy. Because I also grew up near Second City in Chicago. So I was obsessed with Gilda Radner and just, like, loved comedy. And also, like, there was so much good improv and stuff in Chicago. So I always, like, took classes at Second City. And then senior year of high school, I got really into improv stuff. So I started doing classes and stuff. And then did that through college and blah, blah, blah. But yeah, so as soon as my knees fell apart and I couldn't play soccer as well anymore, it was like, gotta find something else that's not as physically demanding.
And we landed on improv.
Yeah, exactly. It's so funny because if you really look at them, like, the things that are important to my dad are soccer and comedy, and I was just like, okay, that's fine, I'll do it.
Okay.
That's fine.
I love you.
He was like the really intense dad on the sidelines screaming. He had to become a referee because he was so intense. And if he was a ref, he couldn't do that,
He had to set a boundary for himself of being the referee.
Yeah, insane. It was horrible. It was, yeah. I think there might have been an incident where he lost us sportsmanship points on the sidelines.
Oh, no. Oh, no. That's so funny.
Insane.
Do you remember any big, like, scandals from your high school? Any major rumors? Apart from you being asexual.
Yeah. Yeah, that was my fun rumor. There was definitely a time where they were like, they found a used condom on the floor of the dance.
Oh, no.
So nasty. So, like, the dance, I assume everyone's kind of looked similar, but it was always, like, everyone in, like, a group of, like, grinding or whatever. Mm-hmm. And then, like, they said they found a condom, which was so gross.
Oh, God. Because I also feel like, that condom was, like, used for a hand job. Like, I don't think that it was like, so even sex. I think my image that comes to my mind is that a boy arrived maybe with a condom on his penis.
To come like that is amazing. And then the class ahead of me, did you guys do a senior prank?
We didn't, but there was always talk of that happening in the past or whatever.
Yeah, our class didn't really ultimately, I don't think, but the seniors ahead of me, like did something horrible to the library. Like they I don't remember what it was. Like I think they set something on fire, and then the like sprinklers had to go on, and then like the books were ruined, and it was like bad. Like the library had to like be rebuilt. And I remember getting, like, a crazy lecture in the cafeteria about, it was like this is...
Pranks are not setting the library on fire.
No. I think it was fire or, like, water, but something that ruined, like, a lot of the books. Horrific. Yeah. Of course, and as a reader, I was like, this is not fair.
The library? Not the library.
Also, coincidentally, where I ate lunch alone, so I was like, that's my place.
That was a direct hit on you. Then.
I know, seriously. It might have been at me. I never thought about that. Oh, God.
We're going to teach this girl not to make out at the dances. We're gonna flood her out.
I should check. I gotta ask someone what that was. Yeah, it was fire or water. Something that can ruin books.
I do like that just like something terrible has happened to the library.
I know. I mean, it was such a small school that stuff traveled. I know everyone knew stuff. I got asked to prom my junior year. A senior asked me to prom my junior year. Big deal. Big deal.
Huge.
Of course, a boy on the boys' soccer team. And he made a Build-A-Bear. Do you remember Build-A-Bear?
Oh, my God. To make a Build-A-Bear is like the highest honor you could give someone.
Yeah, so he made this Build-A-Bear and it was like wearing a suit. And if you pressed its hand, it said like, will you go to prom with me, Amy? Did you guys do like promposals?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
There weren't like enormous ones, but that was like, but he told people he was going to do it. And so he did it in the cafeteria and people were like waiting to watch. And that was horrific to me. I did not like that kind of attention.
No. I think that a really toxic thing that has been told to men is that women want you to ask them out in public in front of everyone. And that is not correct. They do not want that. I mean, some do, but they're crazy. And
yeah, I know. And that's all of TikTok, and they can have that area for themselves.
Yes. Oh, God. Oh, the Build-A-Bear ask is so huge.
I know, it was huge. It was like, then I looked up, and I saw that everyone was watching, and it was horrible. But the Build-A-Bear was very sweet. It was very sweet.
My high school boyfriend, the one who did ultimately break my heart by saying I smell bad on my period, by posting that on MySpace, actually.
Oh my God! That's insane.
It was a rough time.
Oh my God!
Like I said, I made sure that all of my breakups were as dramatic as possible.
That should be. You can't just go silently out of that.
Well, I had fired some shots first. I'm not innocent in the debacle that took place there. But he did, yes, ultimately post a MySpace comment that said I smelled bad on my period. But before
oh my God.
Before doing that, he did give me a Build-A-Bear in which he sang Evermore.
Wow.
Because that was our song by the Foo Fighters.
Aren't they mad at Taylor Swift?
Are the Foo Fighters mad at Taylor Swift?
Because she has a song called Evermore now.
Oh,
I think I read that.
But hers is an album.
Yeah, totally.
Oh.
No, protect Taylor. No.
I don't need the Foo Fighters to be fighting with Taylor Swift.
I also could have made it up. I might have made that up. Who knows? That's very sweet. How much of the song was it? How much could you fit on one of those things?
I think he maxed out what could be sung.
But you know, the thing about that is he was standing in the Build-A-Bear workshop singing
it.
What were those? Like little microchips or whatever they were?
Yes.
Yeah.
He did. He sung it at the Build-A-Bear workshop. So it's
beautiful.
just interesting to see what he really thought of me when actually, a couple months ago you're singing my praises at a Build-A-Bear. So suddenly we're saying some pretty rude stuff on MySpace, Brian.
Oh my God. Yeah, Build-A-Bear was a big thing. I had a birthday party there.
Is Build-A-Bear still?
I have no idea. Okay,
it's
not a part of my life anymore.
Someone please write in and tell me if Build-A-Bear survived the early 2000s or the pandemic. Yeah. Do we know? Are people going to Build-A-Bear? All right, God. Amy, I think that is the perfect place for us to round this out with our last question.
Yeah.
Which is, if you could talk to teen Amy today, what would you tell her?
Oh. I ended up dating a guy who I met senior year through junior year of college, long distance. And I would tell her, don't do that.
Don't do that.
You gotta go to college and kiss everybody. No one should go to college in a long distance relationship. I firmly believe that.
That's fantastic advice for any young people listening to the pod.
Yeah, don't do it. It's just a disaster.
Okay, wow, I'm just getting note from our producer Claudia that Build-A-Bear is still active. It has survived the death of the mall. It has survived a global pandemic. Build-A-Bear still going strong.
Wow, we may need to look into that.
That's incredible.
You need a roast of your teenage self, Build-A-Bear.
Build-A-Bear. I mean, let's GameStop Build-A-Bear. Yeah. You know what I mean?
Amazing.
I don't know how to do that, but maybe some of the people who watch on YouTube know how to do that. Let's GameStop Build-A-Bear.
That's brilliant. So funny.
All right. So any more advice for teen Amy? Kiss more people in college?
Wear your knee braces, babe. They're important.
Don't go long distance and protect your knees. That's excellent advice. That's excellent advice for anybody.
I've heard other guests give like actual good advice, so I'm embarrassed by
No,
this,
that's
but
beautiful.
Okay.
I like for the advice to run the gamut of practical to emotional.
Okay, good. Okay, good.
All right, this is an amazing episode, Amy. Everyone listening, get Notes from the Bathroom line. It'll be available once this episode comes out. All the places that you can buy books, I'm sure.
Alise's piece is amazing. Go straight to Alise's.
It is about, I will say that it is about an often discussed topic on this podcast, which is Seth Cohen on the OC. So go check it out. I read it in the audiobook if you're an audiobook person. Yes. And for everybody listening at home, this has been the Roast of Your Teenage Self podcast.